Welcome, welcome.
This is the entertainment answer.
I would cite regulation, but I know you will simply ignore it.
I know who I am.
I love it. I've got chills.
Smoke and mirrors, guys. Welcome to the movie factory.
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've tell me about.
It's a free country, don't you know that?
I didn't know it was that free.
This is the entertainment answer.
Welcome to this week's entertainment answer for the weekend of August the 18th. I am Matt Mungle, joined as always by Bryan Kluger from Boomstick Comics and High Def Digest, my brother from another mother, Mr. Blue Lights, who I never know what he's going to say, which is why I love doing a show with Bryan, because it's expect the unexpected. We're going to talk about Big Brother. I just realized that's your motto too. Expect the unexpected.
It is expect the unexpected. That's why I like surprising people. Nobody knows what I'm going to say. Nobody knows where my head's at. I always keep them guessing because they might have a notion or expectation of what I'm going to say, but just gonna rip their chest open and have my way with it.
But what's funny is though we all know you. You're pretty predictable, but you're unpredictable. So that's why we have to expect the unexpected. It's very weird. It's an anomaly. It's like, oh, we know what if you're the Michael Scott of, that's what she said. If there's going to be a that's what she said moment, it's going to be you're going to say it. But then we're still act shocked. It's funny.
I can get behind that.
That's what she said. Sure. Well, we're going to get into that because the movie you're alluding to is Alien Romulus that we had a chance to see, that we alluded to even on the show last week, that we're going to get into and talk about the hits and misses of that. But before we do that, we have to do our Big Brother chat because you and I used to do a whole separate podcast about Big Brother. We're condensing it down and putting it into the show. This season has turned out to be a crazy whirlwind of characters and plot twists and gameplay and everything else. I didn't watch at the time we're recording this. I'm one day behind, so I'm not sure what happened on Wednesday. Which Wednesday is the veto competition, right?
Correct. That's the veto competition.
So what happened? What happened? Bring us up to speed to where we're at now from last week.
Well, I mean, as you just said, this is a crazy ass Big Brother season so far. And we're only like 4 weeks in. It's just, I can't tell if this is the dumbest cast of characters in a show or the smartest. There's definitely some very crazy evil people in this, mostly Angela, but it's been crazy. So I guess it got so crazy, and it's like CBS is billing it as the craziest one. They actually had like 3 or 4 weeks in, they had 3 former champions come in and talk about how crazy the house is on a special episode that aired on Tuesday. Which at the end of it, Big Brother announced a different like game-changing twist. But Angela is still safe. Tucker is winning competitions, and Cedric, the former Marine, was head of household. And so when we left that, Angela became head of household again. Angela, the one that America hates, is
obviously not.
Yeah, obviously not. Is head of household again. However, she's not. She's only head of household by name because Quinn, the Carrot Top lookalike, is secretly in charge of the HOA because of his secret power, which is
HOA.
Definitely,
they can't hang up any kind of yard art.
HOA, HOH, head of household. Damn it. HOH. And so he is secretly controlling Angela's game by doing a deep fake of Angela putting people on the block to be evicted, and then he can change the veto. If somebody gets taken off the block because they won the veto competition, he can change that as well, but using a deep fake that looks like Angela is calling the shots. But in this weird, I don't know if it's the dumbest cast of characters yet, but Quinn revealed that he had the secret power to everybody. So everybody knows it's Quinn calling the shots. And so when the last time Tucker had this amazing plan and Cedric just screwed him out of it completely. It was so funny. And so we're on this new episode that aired yesterday on Wednesday, and it's the veto competition. And you have Mackenzie up, you have Tucker up, and you have Cedric up. And this was done not by Angela, but by Quinn, because Quinn and Tucker, who Tucker is like he's kind of like Jim Carrey, but like a very strong Jim Carrey with a New Jersey accent who loves to do impressions. It's really funny. And I actually like Tucker, but Cedric, Tucker, and Mackenzie are on the block because Quinn wants Tucker out and he wants people to compete against Tucker to beat him. So in the veto competition, who wins? But Tucker. So Tucker is 3 for 3. And so what was so funny about this episode was that Tucker was telling the house guests and everybody that he's like, you know what? I came to play this game. I don't want to like pussy out or anything. I'm going to not take myself off the block. I'm going to stick in it to win it, because that's what he did last time. He put the veto on Angela and got Angela out. So he was telling the whole house this. He's like, I'm in it to play the game. And Angela freaked out. Angela's like, what are you doing? Take baby boy, please, like, take yourself out of the game. Like,
and I could see Angela having a meltdown.
No, she did. And but pretty much the whole episode, he's saying like, I want to play this game and I can win. And so at the last second at the veto meeting, he does take himself off the chopping block. And it was so funny because everybody was like on edge on what he was going to do. And so I think last episode and then this one from yesterday, they hinted at in the show that Tucker and Rubina, the really short chick, were having a little romance here and there.
Yeah, well, they kind of alluded to that earlier, that they were kind of flirty flirt. So
right.
It'd be interesting to see.
So Quinn, in his replacement, put up Rubina on the chopping block. And oh my God, it's so funny.
You know, it is funny. And you nailed it. I don't know if this is the smartest group of people ever. And I know it has to be frustrating to the producers and the creators of this season show. They're like, we're going to create this deep fake AI power and nobody's going to know. They're going to think the HOA, you got me saying it now. The HOH is doing this stuff and it's going to be brilliant. And then Quinn just tells everybody. It totally takes away from that power because everybody knows what's going on. It's like you've pulled back the curtain and saw the wizard. And it's like, what then? Angela's safe now because they're like, Angela knows that people aren't thinking she's doing it. Like, you know, if it's a true deep fake, then the people that Quinn put up, everybody would be hating Angela for, because they'd think, oh, Angela did it. But they know Angela didn't do it. So Angela's pretty much just skating by this week, hanging out in the HOH room because everybody knows it's Quinn that's HOH.
No, everybody, I don't understand why.
So they just totally ruined that power.
No, they did. It sucks. I was like,
I would be so angry if I was one of the creators this season. I'd be like, really? You took one of the most coolest powers we've created in seasons and you just ruined it.
Yeah, because it not only put you secretly as head of household to control who goes up on the block, but it also gave you the secret power to change the veto. Like you can put up your own veto. And like the kicker was that the deep fake, it showed Angela doing it with her voice and talking, but everybody knows it's Quinn because Quinn told everybody he had it. They all are having these house meetings and they're trying, like, because the whole thing of Big Brother is to be secretive, to betray, to be secret.
Right.
And this season is not. Everybody is trying to like go have house meetings and tell everybody what they're doing. I was like, when is this going to stop?
I think I blame it on social media. I blame it on everybody wanting to post everything that they're doing. It's like nobody can just keep things to themselves anymore. They feel like they have to share everything. It's social media, man. It's like, oh, I got to post this. Oh, I just did this. I got to tell somebody. I can't just not tell somebody. And I mean, just think about how cool it would have been for Quinn to keep this a secret, put up Tucker's love interest. Tucker would have been furious with Angela. Angela's like, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And he's like, what do you mean it wasn't you? You're head of household. It's like it would have been so cool to just watch that all play out.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like everybody just knows that it's so frustrating. And going back to, Tucker giving Angela the veto when they were all on the block, that was a dumb move, even though he kind of got backdoored. He had a plan, but he could have taken himself off and created the same plan. And then the things that he said to Cedric while he was sitting there, I don't think I've seen that on Big Brother in a while. It was like, dude, it was like anger. He's like, I'm coming for you, man. It was like, it was in some intense moments.
Man, Tucker lost his cool, and I think that's the moment where most people turned on Tucker in the house. And just because he lost his cool, and then everybody saw like, oh, he's trying to control the game, but man, we have to get him out because he's winning everything. And now from yesterday, he is winning everything because Cedric is playing it cool and doing something for his game. But man, Tucker, I really like Tucker in this moment because he is a baller and he seems super fun. And even in this past episode, Tucker is trying to do something with Joseph. Tucker went up to Joseph, the video store clerk with the mustache, and tried to do a final two with him. And Joseph played along, but Joseph has this big ass alliance that Angela and Tucker are not part of. Angela was part of it until she blew up and told everybody in the house that there was that alliance. So they replaced her with Brooklyn. So it's interesting how Tucker went so angry at Cedric for that moment. And like he kept on it. So I
did, man.
think
And it wasn't a jovial, ooh, I'm coming for you gameplay. It was a, dude, I'm gonna meet you out back in the alley.
yeah, I know,
And
yeah,
we're
or
going.
do that. But now Tucker doesn't seem to be mad or coming after Cedric. Tucker's coming after Quinn.
Well, he was coming after Quinn in that moment. That's why he got so angry at Cedric, is because he messed up his going
Yeah.
after Quinn.
Right.
And Angela's still safe. As you mentioned, she's now head of household for the second time.
Yep.
And this wasn't a grandpa shuffleboard game. This was a pretty pay attention to some AI details, the find the differences in the two pictures, which I guess old people have been playing that game since the 70s. It's like, hey, here's two pictures in the newspaper. Can you circle the differences?
Yep.
So, I mean, so she's winning when she has to win. She's going to be, and I'm at the point now, and this is my personality, I've resolved the fact that I hope she wins.
No
I'm
way.
tired
You do
of
not
fighting.
hope this
I'm tired
person
of
wins.
fighting, man. It's like, if nobody in the house wants her out, if everybody's going to just coddle to her, give her veto wins, let her do this with no repercussions.
I don't think that's the case at all.
They've had twice. How many times have they had a chance to get her out?
Everybody wants her out.
But she's still there
because of Tucker. Tucker gave her the veto. If that didn't happen, they would have voted her out. And I'm trying to figure out why, because I'm still finding articles that are coming out that how many shows, TV series she has been on, like game shows and Dr. Phil's and all sorts of things.
Well, I just saw an article now that says she's not a plant, that she was in no way a plant.
Right. I mean, they're saying that, but she has been on like Deal or No Deal a couple of times. She's been on a couple other game shows, and she was on Dr. Phil. And
so maybe that's her deal. Maybe it's like the people who go to Vegas and win all the time. Maybe that's her deal. She's got this knack of winning games and being on TV, and so she could win Big Brother, dude. You better prepare yourself.
She could, but if I was in Big Brother, she would be the first one I would need to get out, like just because of who she is. Like I don't want that energy. I don't want that type of person in there. Has to be out, because I feel like the house would really be better off without her.
Well, I know that my heart rate and my well-being would be better off if she was out of there, because she's so annoying. And it's like, you don't want to reward bad behavior, and I feel like that's what we're getting. and I'm like you. I like Tucker. He's off the wall. He's zany. He's a comp beast. Um, so, but at the same time, I think he's making decisions that are detrimental, that are going to come back and bite him in the butt. And then you got people like Joseph who get no screen time. This guy's just like coasting. He's got to love this season. It's like, man, I have no. I mean, there's a couple of people like that. They're like, dude, I'm just going to hang out and eat some snacks and watch everybody just self implode.
Right. No, that's what it is. And, it's harder to backdoor someone this year because if you wanted to backdoor someone in any previous season, it was pretty simple. You just take the veto and you backdoor somebody. But they make it so hard this year because you have 3 people up, and then on the live show before they evict, they have that AI arena where all 3 compete. And so and it goes down to 2. So technically, whoever you want to backdoor could win that AI arena,
right,
and still get off.
Yeah, and let's back up to another thing that you mentioned that happened on the show that I was shocked about, because you said Angela's the one that America hates. Obviously, America doesn't hate her because America had a chance to, because of the power that Mackenzie had. It was called America's veto, where America could choose the replacement nominee for whoever came off the block, and they chose Quinn instead of Angela.
Well, I thought that's because Angela came off the block and she could not be put back on the block.
But if it's America's vote, then so in other words, if Angela got
taken off the block, she couldn't have been chosen, nor should the HOH be chosen. And I think that was the deal.
So you think Angela got more votes?
I don't think Angela was on that thing for 24 hours on the ballot because she got voted off, and then she was taken off by Tucker, and then you can't vote for her then, and you can't vote for HOH. So it had to be somebody else.
And again, the luck of the draw, the week that another great power is used by Mackenzie, and Angela's safe. She gets out through a loophole of being safe. Yeah. And Quinn goes up. So I mean, so you think that in a normal scenario, if everybody was up, Angela would have been the one America voted for?
Oh, hell yeah. Everybody would have voted to see her go home. Hell yeah. But then again, like you're saying, it was a weird week, and Kenny, the old guy, police detective, just cried every day about wanting to see his family and go home after Julie Chen said, "You've been trying years to get on the show and you finally did." And then a week in, you're wanting to go back home.
Yeah. There's another show on History Channel called Alone, where they drop people off in the Alaskan wilderness and they see who can survive the longest. And it's the same thing. You've got people who have trained and lived this lifestyle, and they get out there and a week later, they're like, all right, I've proved it to myself. I realize I miss my kids more than this was important. I'm going home. I'm clicking out. And so it's like he pretty much took up a space from somebody that could have been on the show.
Right.
But I guess you don't know until you're in it. I guess you don't know until you're there.
No, you don't. But still, I mean, I guess he got it. And then I can't imagine being that big of a turd to do that. And
well, I mean, it's not really a turd. I mean, I kind of feel for a guy that age, and he does miss his family and his kids. I mean, these are vital times. I mean, he gave the age of his groups. I mean, the summer, 3 months away from your kids at this age, and in the summer, I mean, I can sort of see it. But then don't sign up. Don't sign up.
Exactly. Don't sign up. And then you're throwing away $750,000 or the chance to like have sort of a side career of doing stuff else. I don't know. I just thought it was a bitch move.
Yeah. So at the end of the veto, so the people up there now are Mackenzie and the girl that
Rubina.
I can't remember her name. And who's the third one?
It's oh god, it's
Mackenzie, Rubina, and
who else? It's Cedric.
Yeah.
Cedric.
So who's your prediction of who will go home from that group?
So those are the 3 people competing in the AI, because the veto is already done. So it's the AI and then the live eviction.
Which my money's on Mackenzie to win the AI.
And you're trying to figure out, since it's a live show, they have 10 to 12 minutes to do this AI arena live. So it's either going to be memory based or like see the pictures, or it's going to be something very quick physical challenge. And so Oh man, I I'm thinking, which would be really funny, if Cedric wins and it's Mackenzie and Rubina, and then people all vote out Rubina because they know the thing with Tucker. Because it would also be stupid for them to keep Rubina knowing that he has the ally and everybody wants him out.
Right.
Where Mackenzie, I don't think she's part of any of the big alliances, really, but I don't think she's that big of a threat to anything or anybody at the moment.
Not anymore. It's not since she doesn't have a power. She's not really a threat. I mean, she's not winning comps.
Yeah, her
So
romance is gone first
her
week on
romance
that.
is gone. So yeah, I could see that being a vote for Rabina is a vote for Tucker.
No, that's what it is. And so I know
Yeah.
Angela would vote for what's her name, Mackenzie, to go out because they don't like each other, but I can't imagine anybody else voting for Rubina to stay.
Mhm.
But if one of the other girls lose, I think Cedric's going out.
Possibly. It'd be interesting to see. So
Yeah.
are there any of the big powers left? Quinn
No,
used
not
his, Mackenzie
no,
used
no.
hers.
None of the powers are left. However, in the episode from Tuesday, they announced that there's a secret new twist to the game and another power coming that they haven't explained quite yet, but they called it the AI instigator.
Yeah, and again, they probably were scrambling. It's like we had these major powers, and they've all got just poof. Quinn wasted his by giving out the secret. Mackenzie used hers at a time when Angela was safe. It's like you couldn't get out the biggest hated person on the show because she was safe. It's like all their powers have backfired. It's like none of them have been utilized to their full potential. So they're
Right.
probably like, we got to put something else. It's like Hunger Games, man. I could see, the little game makers up there like moving stuff around, going, we got to do something.
Yeah, and
We
so
got to get these people shooting each other.
that's what it is. And so it's called AI Instigator, which I think I texted you as like, oh my God, Big Brother chose violence this season. And
Yeah,
I
I
guess
didn't know what that text meant.
yeah, well they chose, well, I mean, like they're trying to stir the shit up even when the shit is already hit the fan in the first few weeks. And something with AI Instigator, that means to tell me that this is an America's thing. So they said that with America's vote to put Quinn back on the block, they had 5 million votes within 24 hours. So they're like, oh, this is a good thing for us. Let's do this again.
Wow.
So America's going to vote for the AI instigator. And just by the name itself, they're going to instigate somebody possibly doing a deep fake of starting some shit in the house. So like, let's say whoever wins, let's say Tucker wins, Tucker can deep fake anybody in the house and like call them out on a fake thing and stir something up. And that's why I said, oh, they chose violence this season. They're not trying to keep things calm and cool.
Interesting. Well, hopefully it'll shake things up because I mean it has been a wild ride this season. We're going to talk about it more each week, but I'm happy with what we're seeing. I'm not happy with the people who have left. I don't think anybody who has left I wanted to see leave, and the people I wanted to see leave are still there. So it is what it is.
We're just gonna hate Angela until she's gone, and then hate her some more.
No, I'm embracing her. I've just, you know what? I'm over. It's not worth my self-control. I hope she wins. Go, Angela.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, thank you.
All right. Well, you can check out Big Brother. It's on like 20 times a week. You can watch it live or watch it on Hulu the next day. It's a time suck, but it's a lot of fun to watch for sure. And we will definitely be keeping you up to date about that as the weeks go by here on the show.
Yes,
and see what happens. So, well, we're about to get into a discussion of Alien Romulus, the new film hitting theaters this weekend. It's like the the ninth film in the franchise, something like that.
I think it's the 7th.
Is it the 7th in the franchise? But before we do that, there's a new segment I want to instill. This might be the only time we ever do it, but I want to build it up like it's a great segment, and then it might just be the only time we do it. It's called How Bougie is Bryan? Because if you've known anything in the past from all of our discussions, him being on the show, when Bryan travels or does things, he usually does it pretty high scale. He's always in a box seat if he goes to an event. He usually he won't stay in a hotel unless it's 8 stars like Snoop Dogg. Um, so it's usually like a nice Airbnb, travels first class. That's his thing. And so the only reason I thought about this is, and this leads into Alien Romulus. There's a tie-in. We had the press screening last week. So I showed up a little bit early, decided to grab a bite to eat in the food court before I went into the screening. And I was sitting there, and before I went, I was like, I should give Bryan a text, see if he wants to come in early and meet me and grab a bite in the food court. And my first thought was like, Bryan doesn't eat in a food court. Bryan, the last place Bryan is ever going to be seen is in a food court. He's too bougie for that. If I was to call him and say, hey man, let's meet up and have something to eat, it would probably be some upscale. I got a second mortgage my home to pay for a plate of food that I'm about to eat before I go into this movie. So am I right or am I wrong? And how bougie is Bryan? Do you eat in a food court? When's the last time you ate physically in a food court?
It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's never by choice, but I mean, if it's at North Park in the food court, it's Chick-fil-A. But it wasn't too long ago. But it's very rare. But you're not wrong. Like Warren and I did go eat at Joey at the North Park, which is their kind of new fancy restaurant, where when you walk in, they give you a glass of champagne for free. And we had. Yeah, we had sushi, we had lobster tacos, it was a thing. You were
Right.
so right on that.
And exactly. And this wasn't planned. Bryan had no idea what I was about to ask. I had no idea where he and Warren ate before that, but this just proves my point. This is how bougie Bryan is. I'm like, hey man, I wonder if he wants to meet up at Which. And he's eating free champagne and lobster rolls.
I would always meet up with you, Matthew. For you, I would meet up anywhere.
And I know you would have. I'm not, because you're right. It probably wouldn't be by choice, but yeah, you're that kind of guy. If I was like, hey man, meet me over here, let's grab a bite, you'd have 100% done it.
Yeah.
But Bryan on his own is not going to choose which.
No, I am not. Oh, that's so funny. When I saw that, I was like, oh, what is Bryan bougie? Like BB, and I was like, okay. And it's like, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong on anything you have said.
Right. And what's funny is you don't come across that way. You're not pretentious. Because a lot of people are very pretentious and flouty about it. Like you would have never have come on this show and said, hey, guess what I had to eat before the screen. You would have never done that. That's not your MO.
No.
You're bougie, but you're low key about it. That's which is what's cool. It's like Adam Sandler showing up in a $3 million car wearing basketball shorts.
Right.
That's what he does.
It is.
That's what it is, man.
Oh, that's so. I like this. I like this segment because.
Oh yeah.
I look at myself and I was like, wait. But I will say that I do eat. I think the only place I will eat at North Park in the food court is Chick-fil-A.
Really? Because there's a lot of great places. We should do a segment on good food in food courts, because then you got Kava. Kava's there now, which is like a Mediterranean.
I have eaten Kava quite a bit, but never at North Park though.
Kava's good. You've got, like I mentioned, Which. You've got a Chipotle. You've got
good God, no.
Panda Express.
Oh God, no.
Isn't there there's not a Torchy's or a Fuzzy's, but I thought there was some kind of taco place.
I don't like those two either.
You don't like Torchy's?
Torchy's might as well be called gross tacos.
Oh my gosh. It isn't. If you read the sign, it's a damn good taco. You didn't even read the sign.
That's false advertising.
Well, we'll have to pencil this in as another segment at some point.
Good.
Where bougie Bryan eats and doesn't eat. So let's get into Alien Romulus, because that's why we were at North Park anyway, was to see this on IMAX, the biggest screen, biggest loud thing possible. As we mentioned on last week's show, you went into Alien Romulus a little bit more excited than I did. I went because I needed to cover something. You went because you were excited about the writer-director, the direction it was going to go. Coming out of it on the other side, were you happy?
Oh, I was very happy.
So what were you the most happy about?
I was happy, we haven't really received an alien movie like this since Alien 3 in the 90s. And coming off of, all the Alien vs. Predators, which were kind of silly, but fun. And then coming off of the very heavy-handed Ridley Scott movies that goes deep and in depth into religion and creation of Prometheus and Covenant, this was straight balls to the wall, horror, action, carnage. I loved it. That's what I loved about it. I loved seeing, while some of the characters might have been annoying, I like that it was no engineers, there were no doctors, there was nothing. It was just a group of kids kind of thrown into this thing, and they had no idea about science or anything. They're just trying to escape their eventual death from Wayland by being enslaved as kids. And then having this happen, I was like, okay, I like it. I like where it's going. And then Fede Alvarez, the writer director of the remake of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, he like showed some really cool things I think Alien fans have always wanted to see horror wise in an Alien movie, and I liked it.
Yeah, and I have to agree that I came out more pleased than when I went in. I went in with low expectations. I just wanted a fun ride. I didn't. I think the characters annoyed me more than they did you. It was like a Maze Runner, Divergent, sort of a. I don't care about any of these kids. There's really no. I don't know. The characters I couldn't root for anybody other than Andy. Andy's
Right.
one of the characters in it I was rooting for.
I agree with that.
But because of what they did, I was able to overlook that because you're right. It felt more like a horror film. There was so many jump scares, the practical effects. It felt like a late 70s, early 80s film about Alien. It was like it felt in that time lane. They didn't try to do too much technology wise. And what's funny, no spoiler alert, but I went back and watched Alien after I watched Romulus, and I don't know if they did it on purpose. They had to, but the opening segue is exactly the same. It is exactly almost frame by frame how Alien starts is the same way that Romulus started. And I almost to the point where I was like, hey, this is about to happen. And sure enough, it happened. It's very cool. So there is a lot of, and you probably got more out of this than I did, a lot of the lore and the paying homage to the originals. Did you feel like you got a lot of that too?
Yeah, there's some callbacks, there's some winks and nods, some more subtly done than others. I think the one thing that's going to be super divisive amongst people who watch it, there's a certain line of dialogue that happens in the movie that's a shout out to something from Aliens. And while I think the nostalgia is there, I think this time it's delivered so poorly that I just kind of groaned, but I got through it. It wasn't something I dwelled on, but it was
I
just
know
like,
which line you're talking about. I know
no,
exactly which line. It was horrid.
no, it was horrid because in the original one, it comes with such passion and vigor. It's visceral. You feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, it's just like, oh man, this was so terrible. Like this, let's move on. And luckily, Fede Alvarez in charge, he succeeds in that because there's another moment in the movie where you think it's gonna jump the shark and it's gonna like, oh God, this is gonna be so dumb. There's this new creature-ish, but then you see it and you're just like, oh God, this is super scary and horrifying. Love it. There's a lot of that, but I'm curious on where people are going to be divisive on that particular line of dialogue and how it's used.
Yeah, I agree. It was almost like when they delivered it, it was like, is this what I'm supposed to say? How do I say it? It's like
Right.
it was like not organic. It was not in the moment. It was just not good
Right.
at all.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but again, that's another thing you can overlook because of everything else that you get in this film. So, and it's not a spoiler alert that we figure out this one takes place between Alien and Aliens.
Correct.
Was there? Did you feel that time? Because, like I said, I hadn't watched Alien in forever. I'd seen Aliens more so, but I also feel like it could have fit in any realm, even as a standalone movie.
And I think it is like a standalone movie because I don't think they'll do a sequel to Romulus by any means with anybody, but I think
Thank you.
I think it stands in between those two ones because where I thought it was going, which I'm glad they really didn't show. But I guess, I mean, I'm trying to think if you could have shown this. I guess, yeah, you're right. It could have been in between Alien 3 and Alien 4, or in between Alien 2 and Alien 3. I don't, because if it was take place after Alien 4, I mean, I guess so, because Alien 4 takes place so much further into the future than the first three. I just think that people have such a love for part 1 and part 2 that put this little story in between those, and you can have some tie-ins to 1 and tie-ins to 2, which are the universally loved ones. So that's why I think they kind of did it. But you're right, it could have been anywhere.
Yeah. I'm glad we saw it in IMAX. I said in my official review, I'm not sure if this film will hit as hard for non-hardcore fans. Hardcore fans are going to love it anyway because it's an alien movie. For those that just want a great thrill ride, I'm not sure if it's going to hit as well at home and streaming as it did in IMAX.
So I mean, definitely a movie like this hitting at home, if you have a good sound system, if you have a good speaker system, Dolby Atmos, stuff like that, I think it'll do its job. But IMAX, it was made for IMAX, so you get the visuals there, but this movie relies so much on sound, and with the IMAX sound or a Dolby Cinema ticket that you can buy, the contrast, the perfect contrast of silence and space, and then the abundance of horror terrorizing noises that happens constantly in the movie is so pitch perfect. It's just, and it's loud. I actually thought, I almost looked at you, man. I was like, man, is Matt gonna say this was too loud, or did he enjoy how
How
loud
do
it
you
was?
think I
I mean, it's
am?
almost like Gravity, that movie Gravity levels of sound,
Right.
where it can be silent and then it's like complete chaos at times.
You must think I'm really old. It's like, oh, Matt's down there, probably too loud. Turn down the dang
Well, you were
movie.
sitting right by the speaker.
And dude, my chair was like, I felt like it's some of the when the rocket launches and they go to where they're going. I really felt like I was on the ship. Like I was
Yeah.
like, man, my chair is about to come unbolted. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hang on, which is great. That's the kind of experience you want in this kind of film for sure.
Yeah. No, that was good. No, the sound was awesome. Like, I think if you're gonna see this movie, see it in a theater. But if you can do the IMAX, oh man, do that IMAX. That is the way this was made to be seen.
Yeah, yeah, and very seldom because I know with the the price of tickets, with inflation the way it is, everybody's tight unless you're bougie Bryan, but everybody's kind of like reining in. So a lot of times I'll be like, you know what, wait for it to stream, watch it at home. It ends with us. You could probably watch it at home and it'll be the same.
Right.
But
You
a
watch
film
that
like
on an airplane.
yeah. But something like Alien Romulus, yeah, these are the type of movies, even Twisters, which we're going to talk about in a second, because it's hitting homes. Even something like Twisters, I think there's movies that were made for the big screen that you want to experience. I mean, if you're going to pay the money, pay it for something you're going to experience, like a thrill ride. And that's what this one was.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Go see Alien Romulus. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars because I have to rate things. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Like, it is damn good. And
Yeah,
like its shortcomings are so nonchalant to me that the rest of the movie overpowers that. It so outweighs the bad. The good.
Yeah, that's fair. So where does it sit now in the whole franchise? If you had to rate your favorite to least favorite, where's Romulus fall?
I think still Alien, the first one, is the best. Aliens 2, second best, and I like Aliens 3, which a lot of people don't. But I'm gonna they're right neck and neck, Romulus and Alien 3. So it's like either third or fourth out of 7. But only because 1 and 2 are so like perfect. Like,
1 and 2 are perfect, man. They
hard
really
to
are.
go that way. And I would say that it would be up with 1 and 2 if it weren't for a couple of instances here. But I still love it. Like, it's towards the top of the franchise. What about you?
It's the same. I think I mean, you have 1 and 2. It's almost like the gold and silver Olympic medal, and then bronze is like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like Romulus could be third, but it's nowhere close to 1 and 2. I mean, to say it's third is a little misleading, because of the casting, because of the characters, because of some of the things it did. I don't think, like I've been watching Aliens at home for years. I watched Alien again. I don't know if I'll watch Romulus at home. I'll watch it once to see if it hits the same. I just don't see me rewatching it at home as much as I do one and two. But I
Okay,
think
no,
as far as an experience and as far as what it brought, it's easily three.
okay, yeah, I'm there with you. And I'm curious, Matthew, I know you love box office. Deadpool and Wolverine is over $1 billion right now, and then the Blake Lively movie is doing fairly well. Does Alien Romulus, this hardcore horror movie, which is rated R, Deadpool and Wolverine is rated R as well. I can't remember if it ends with us as R, but
It's
Deadpool
PG-13.
Wolverine is violent, it's bloody, but it's comedic and it's superhero and it's Marvel. Does Alien Romulus take the #1 spot this opening weekend over Deadpool and Wolverine?
It might take the overall #1 spot, but it won't have the legs. It won't come close to the overall box office that Deadpool Wolverine does. Yes, opening weekend, it probably will do very well. I'm looking at the box office now to see kind of where everything is. But yeah, I could see it being there and being #1 for a week. It won't be #1 for 2 weeks. Definitely won't be #1 for 3 weeks.
You
So
sure?
yeah. Only because that yes, they're both rated R. Rated R films normally don't do as well in the box office because families can't go. And I think the Marvel Deadpool fan base is bigger than the Alien fan base.
Right.
And I think another thing that showed that was the screening. Deadpool and Wolverine, we had probably 3 times as many people in our screening as we did for Alien Romulus. So
I guess so, because I guess yeah, you're right. I mean, because we both went to critic screening and critics only screenings. And so at Alien Romulus, there might have been 20 people there, where at Deadpool Wolverine, there might have been 40 people there.
yeah.
So
Yes, I just think, a lot of people are like, man, another Alien movie. And the trailer does it no justice. I saw the trailer. I went to see It Ends With Us in the theater and saw the Alien trailer. And I was like, I have no desire to watch this from the trailer. So, but again, I came out liking it more than I went in. I really enjoyed it. But as a normal moviegoer, I'm not sure I would have just paid to go see it. And we have critic friends that are the same way. They're going to wait and see it at home. They passed on all the screenings, but they were at Deadpool and Wolverine for sure.
yeah, they were.
So, yeah. Now, as we're talking about the box office, let me get your opinion on this. Another very good critic friend of ours, Susan, who I do a Tea on TV segment with each week. We have a running bet of when it's all said and done, who's going to do better in the box office, Deadpool and Wolverine or Inside Out 2? Because Inside Out 2 right now is the #1 grossing film with 638 million over 9 weeks. Deadpool and Wolverine's at 507. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine in the theater is going to surpass Inside Out 2 before it's all said and done?
No, I would say only if they re-release it in theaters this year with like an added scene or a deleted scenes or something like that. People would go back to it, but I don't see people going to see it again, or unless they do a discounts like come see Deadpool and Wolverine for like $5 again and see like this added bonus scene at the end, something like that. I don't see that, because from 507 to 638, that's a big jump for something that's been out for weeks and weeks already and that people have seen already. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Yeah. And another film that did well is Twisters, 226 million over 4 weeks. That's not bad. And I'm very surprised that it's already available to watch at home on digital. That seems to me a very quick turnaround.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Universal and Paramount and Apple, like it's their motto right now is release something in the theater for 3 weeks and then put it out on digital so people at home can spend more money, because it's usually like for Twisters, it's like pay $23 to rent it, pay $26 to buy it. And it's just let it breathe, man. And then seriously, Twisters was made for the 4DX theater, and 4DX meaning like you go to a theater and your chair moves around, there's mist, there's fog, you're getting squirted in the face. Twisters was made for that. Like, I've known people that go to 4DX because there's not a 4DX theater in Dallas at the moment, but
Which is
people
odd.
told me, huh?
Which is odd. We don't have one.
Yeah, the closest one is Red Oak, which is, I don't know, 40 minutes outside of Dallas or something.
Yeah, because people want to go to Red Oak.
Right, exactly. But I have friends that have done it, and they're like, it is a roller coaster. Like, it is so much fun. This movie was made for 4DX. It's like, enhance that, make that the thing, because Twisters is a fun as hell movie. And this people would like market it that way.
Right. No, and
So,
I'm excited that it's here because Furiosa just hit this weekend streaming on Max, and Furiosa came out in May. I don't know when Furiosa was available to buy on digital, but I mean we're 3 months in before it's streaming on Max. But I don't know how long before Furiosa was available to digitally get from its May
I think,
release.
well, that's Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers usual is that Warner Brothers? I think it's Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Max, so it's probably Warner Brothers.
Right. So I think Warner Brothers has a bigger lead, like wait time, but that's the one movie that should have gone straight to digital after it was released in theaters because it didn't do well. Because
It
they
didn't.
released it at such a terrible time.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Furiosa more than you did. So I'm excited to rewatch it on Max this weekend. Same way that with Fury Road, it was fun to watch. So yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised when I got the Twisters digital codes and hey, it's available for digital. I was like, dang, that's quick. All right, let's do it. That's fun.
Awesome.
And that makes more sense in this day and age because more people are streaming, more people are digital. A lot of people do have a Dolby surround sound. They have a system at home where they can watch something that's fun. So um, yeah, so we're very excited about that. What else is out on Blu-ray and DVD that you would promote?
That I would promote. Let's see here. What is up here? Well, I would not promote the Ted Lasso Blu-ray from Warner Brothers.
Why?
So Warner Brothers released the Ted Lasso series, like all 3 seasons on Blu-ray in a set. I would not recommend it because on Apple TV Plus, it's in 4K and they did not release a 4K release. And then with something as good as Ted Lasso, it is bare bones. There are no bonus features, extras, commentaries, anything on it. It is just the episodes. And I was like, why even release something
Yeah,
downgraded?
you think they're saving it for like the holidays and release a super fan package that does have 4K, that does have bonus features, that does have cool stuff in it, or is this it?
I don't think so. I think this is it. I think I don't see a world unless somebody else or they pay Apple to do this. I just something as well loved as Ted Lasso got this type of treatment is just it's so annoying and
Yeah,
upsetting.
yeah, and
Um,
you know, and they didn't really promote it either with, I mean, Apple, I mean, it's one of the greatest shows on Apple TV, one of the greatest series that have come out in forever. And I feel
yeah.
like a lot of people still haven't even seen it because they don't really know about it. And then to
Right.
release it like this, I don't know, it's just kind of a
Yeah, and
detriment.
my only thing is like for people who don't have Apple TV Plus who haven't seen it, I guess this is your
Mhm.
way to see the episodes, but I mean, they're gonna love the show. Why not have commentaries? Why not have a gag reel? I mean, people want to see kind of behind the scenes of everybody coming together and having a good time on the show, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And another one that I will recommend is the Zone of Interest on 4K
There
from
you go.
A24. They did a good job.
All right. That's
There's
your Seinfeld of the Holocaust. That's
that
your,
is the Seinfeld of the Holocaust. I wonder if people know why I say that. Do you know why I
um,
said that, Matt?
well, you said that because Seinfeld is their whole thing was it was a show about nothing, but it was one of the greatest shows ever made. But
Right.
they always said it was a show about nothing. So, I mean, you're kind of saying the Zone of Interest is a Holocaust movie that's about nothing to do with the Holocaust except where these people live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that same principle of like we're at a Holocaust movie, but we're not seeing what happens inside the concentration camps. Excuse me. And we're not seeing any deaths, any blood, anything. We're just seeing the mundane life of this family living next door to it.
Right.
But it
Which
says so much
which
more.
is that's the
Yeah.
premise of Seinfeld.
We're it's just so much more going on underneath the surface. So I did like that. And other than that, I guess like a real small one that nobody's heard about. There's a from ETR Media, part of the Vinegar Syndrome family, Blu-ray, which is kind of standard definition, but it's Blu-ray. It's a documentary from about 12, 14 years ago called the Arrested Development Documentary Project. And it's a documentary about the show Arrested Development that everybody loved. And it's basically two friends who love the show did a Kickstarter campaign, raised enough money to go across the country and interview super fans of the show, and then somehow got the entire cast and crew of Arrested Development to come do interviews about it, sans Jessica Walter and Michael Cera, but everybody else is on it, and it's just them talking about making it and how they did it, and it's kind of cool.
Interesting. I guess, yeah, fans of Arrested Development will probably eat that up.
Yeah, I think it was cool. It's called and interesting enough, you really don't have to buy the Blu-ray because the whole thing is out on YouTube for free.
Dude, I love America.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. There's some good options. Again, in the theater, Alien Romulus this weekend. If you're an Alien fan, you have to check it out for sure. There's other great things in there too. If you haven't seen It Ends With Us, it's a powerful film with Blake Lively based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling book. Other things out there to see as well. Twister's now at home too. And again, for all the reviews, everything, you can check Bryan out at Boomstick Comics and High Def Digest for all of his at-home releases and movie reviews. Follow him on socials too. He does about 1,000 podcasts, going deep diving into a lot of things. Plus a music podcast on Wednesdays. You're still doing your music one on Wednesdays, right?
That's the radio. That's live on the radio playing soundtracks.
Nice. Well, there you go. Again, technology. So check that out, everything Bryan does. And for everything we do, it's theentertainmentanswer.com. I'm Matt Mongol. That's Bryan Kluger. We'll be back with more with Bougie Bryan next week.